Hello? Anji, please unmute whenever I ask the questions, okay? Today's topic will start with Ace your interview. What do you understand? What we will cover today? Anji, Ace your interview means? Hello? Please unmute and speak. Let's make this session a two-way session, not one-way only. What is Ace your interview?
Ma'am, making the interview with a good impression.
With good impression. मतलब interview के लिए बहुत सारी चीजें होती हैं ना. Initially जब कहीं job निकले तो first you will apply for it, right? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
First you will apply. How you do apply for it? You put some resume on their websites. Today we will study about our interview, like from the starting and what will be the objective. Objective is building an impressive resume. आपने apply करोगे तो first of all what will you do? You will send your resume first. When your resume got selected, then only you will get called for the interview, right? Please unmute and speak something.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay then. What is a resume? Let's start with the first topic. What is resume? Anji, why do you make resume? Why it is so important for your interview? Initial stage है ना आपकी resume के. Why is it so important?
First impression. To make yourself known about yourself.
First impression. Who said first impression? Just let me ask. How first impression if you are sending your resume through a website? No. It is not an impression of you. Anji, what is resume?
And personal details.
Sorry?
Personal details.
Yeah, personal details. A resume is a summary of your qualifications. आप resume में क्या लिखते हो? Initially क्या लिखते हो? अपने information, then your objectives, then your qualifications, your skills, what other achievements, extracurricular and etc. And then your personal information in detail. ऐसे mention करते हो ना आप ये सारी चीजें. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Anji, I'm asking summary of your qualifications. Is it true or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Then
ma'am.
there are
Yes,
formats of the resume. Does anyone know what are the formats? What are the formats of the resume? किस way में आप लिखना start करते हो?
Ma'am, firstly, it's about personal details.
Okay. Then
Qualifications. Hobby.
जिस पोस्ट के लिए आपने अप्लाई किया उसके लिए आप क्या क्वालिफाइड हो, उसके लिए आपने क्या एक्स्ट्रा कोर्सेज कर रखे हैं, such things also.
Ma'am, experience.
Yes. There are formats बच्चों, ठीक है, 3 types of formats होते हैं resumes के लिए. First you see this video, then we'll start. Is it audible?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Now,
No, ma'am.
Sadhana, is it now audible?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Then instead of video, let's start. Let's can someone understand through the subtitles? Comfortable or uncomfortable? Hello? Comfortable with the subtitles if I go with subtitles? I think there's some issue with the speaker. Hello? Hello everyone. Is it comfortable for you people with subtitles? Because speakers I think are not working.
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
Today, I'm going to teach you how to write a professional resume. Yeah, you can do it again.
Audible, ma'am. No, it is audible now.
Andrew here from Novel Resume. And today, I'm going to teach you how to write a professional resume.
Career Advice by Novo Resume.
So, I made a great presentation for you. Let's dive right into it. So, there are 3 steps you need to consider when writing a resume. The first one is figuring out your format and the layout that you're going to use. The second one is nailing your resume header. And then the third one is completing your resume sections, which is the most important thing. But let's start from the beginning. Your format and layout. There are 3 main resume formats. The first one is chronological. Here, you want to write your most recent job experience and then move backwards. The same goes for education, your professional service. Of course, named combined and can be used in some specific cases. But in 90% of the cases, you want to go with a chronological format because this is the resume format that recruiters and employers all around the world are used to. Now, let's move to the second part, the header, which is the top part of your resume. In the header, there are some must-have information that you need to include at all times. These are your first and last name, your phone number, your email address, your location. Here in the location, remember to include only the city and the country, and then job title. There are also some optional information that you might consider including in your header, such as your LinkedIn URL, relevant social media, your website if you have one, or a blog, or even a portfolio. Here you can see an example of a professional resume header. You can see that in the left we have the most important information, which is the name of the person applying, their job title, and then on the right we can see their email address, phone number, location, the LinkedIn profile, and also a Medium account. Because we can assume that in this case the person is a business development consultant, but also it's writing professional articles on Medium. Make sure at all the time that you proofread your information in the header, because if you misspelled one number in your phone number or one letter in your email address, the employer will not be able to contact you. Hello, is this Jonathan Dudway? No, this is Dwayne The Rock Johnson. There's also some information that you should not include in your resume header, and this is your birth date, unless this is specifically required in the job ad. You should not include your birth date because it can lead to discrimination based on age. Never include professional email address. You know that email address that you created in high school. Back then it was cool, but it's not cool when you apply now for a job to have an email as xxowarrior@superhotmail.com. Recruiters and employers, when they would see that, they would think it's very unprofessional and they might discard your resume. What about a photograph? Well, in US, UK, and Ireland, you should not include a picture in your resume due to anti-discrimination and labor laws. But in other countries, such as Scandinavia, you should actually include a picture in your resume. There are also like lots of countries where there's no agreement if you should include one or not, so you need to do the research for the industry you're applying for and what are the exact laws or requirements in your country. The second thing that you need to consider when writing your resume header is including a resume summary or an objective. And we'll start with the resume summary. A resume summary is usually a 2 to 4 sentences summary of your career. I prepared here an example for you that you can use as inspiration. Professional marketing manager with 5+ years of experience in digital marketing. Social media marketing experience, including Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn advertising. Experience in managing accounts with a monthly budget of $60,000+, BA in marketing management. As you can see, this is like a really great professional summary, because from 4 sentences, you can see the tools that the person has experience in, how many years, what budgets they are comfortable in managing, and also their level of education. 90% of the cases you would use a resume summary, but there are some cases where a resume objective is better. The resume objective, it's the goal of your resume, and it communicates your motivation for getting into a new field. Here you can see a professional example for a customer support professional that's currently doing a career change. Customer support representative with 3+ years of experience over the phone technical support, leverage communication skills as a sales representative at XYZ company. Excellent track record in delivering quality support service, having maintained a 4.7+ star rating over the past 1.5 years from over 1,000 customers. That's impressive. As you can see, this is a really great example because the person is emphasizing on the transferable skills that both a customer support professional and a sales representative would have in common. Now, let's move to the third and most important part of your resume sections. So, you want to structure your work experience as follows. First, you would have the job title, your position. Under it, you would list the company name and optional location. Then you would have the dates that you were employed for that company. Then you want to list between 4 to 6 and maximum 10 achievements and responsibilities. And as optional as well, it would be a company description. You want to use this if the company is not so well known, or if it has a name that you cannot really know what industry or what they are doing. And now I'm going to show you an example of a professional work experience section. As you can see here, we have at the top the job title, followed by the company name and location of the company. Then under, you can see the dates employed. Then you can see the most important part of the work experience section, the achievements. These achievements are really great because they use a lot of percentages and numbers, which makes it really easy for the employer or recruiter to visualize the value that you actually added to the company. So remember to use percentages and numbers as many times as possible. So the next really important section that you want to include is your education. Here you want to start with your program name, the university name, the years that you attended, or the graduation date. And as optional, you can include relevant courses for the job you're applying for, honors or awards, your GPA, include the GPA only if it's high, one of the highest, your academic achievements, and that, the way I said it before, it was like something else is coming up. Academic achievements. And so here we have a professional example. As you can see, the education section starts with the program name, followed by the university name, the years that the person attended the university. Then we have an example of an excellent award. And lastly, here we have as an optional section, we have the relevant courses. After including your work experience and your education, it's crucial to mention your top skills. Remember that there are two types of skills that you can include in your resume. First, there are the hard skills. These are measurable abilities that usually you can get a score or a diploma on it. Some examples include Google Analytics, Photoshop, French cuisine, and engineering. Second type of skills are soft skills. These are personal abilities, and it's very hard to quantify them. Some examples include here leadership, critical thinking, empathy, and adaptability. There are some jobs where people tend to include only their hard skills, but remember all the time to include some soft skills as well, because nowadays, no matter the job, you will all the time need to work with other people, and working with other people requires soft skills. Here we can see an example from a resume where we have hard skills and soft skills listed. On the left, you can see the technical skills, hard skills in this case, and then on the right, we can see the soft skills. My mouth got so dry. Work experience, education, and skills, they are the bread and butter of your resume. However, the following additions can really give a boost to your resume. Now, here are some additional sections that you can add. Languages. Speaking a foreign language can give you an advantage over the other job seekers. The company that you're applying to might have offices in other countries or actually have customers from all over the world. Next, you can also add volunteering experience. This would actually add lots of value for students or graduates if you don't have so much work experience, or if you apply for NGOs. Then you can add your certificates, which are, for some jobs, they are crucial and are actually more important than work experience. We need to. Then remember to list any extra award that you might have received or achievements. This becomes really important and is a differentiator at mid-level career or senior professionals. Then you can also add relevant projects. These are really important, especially when you took a break, because it can demonstrate that while you were not working.
What are the three sections you mentioned? Anju. Hello? What are the three sections that person mentioned? What are the three formats? Hello? Hello? I think no one is listening now. What are the three sections that person mentioned? Chronological, skill-based, and combined. Yes. What are the difference? What is the difference? Tell me a single one. Single difference between all three.
Ma'am, in chronological, all the details are in a in a chronology, in a sequence. In skill based, they are focused. There is a main focus on skills and pursuing and completed skills. And combined, they are the combination of chronological and skill based.
The topic पर क्या बोल chronological में what is chronological बच्चे आप जो most recent आपका experience है ना you will show that ठीक है जैसे अगर आपने पहले post graduation किया then you will post graduation then you graduation then you go in the reverse order समझ आया let's start with the goal let's see which one do you prefer we have only 5 minutes to submit this. हम polling के लिए चल रहे हैं Okay, I'm ending the poll here. So these are the result I got. Why chronological and those who why you supported any one of this? And so please explain why chronological. Those who are selected chronological. Combined it. Please unmute and support your answer. Support your poll. Why you have selected any one of this? Hello? And why somebody has chosen this? 37 people. What is chronological resume, बच्चे? chronological resume template is something where you tell about your skills, which is the more recent one. Am I audible? Hello, am I audible? Chronological format is the classic format that lists your work experience in order, starting with the most recent one. Those who have selected the chronological ones. Functional emphasizes qualifications and accomplishments instead of specific jobs, but is not recommended. Why it is not recommended? Those who have heard that video properly. Why functional is not recommended? Instead of messaging, please unmute and speak. Why functional is not adopted as chronological? Okay, it is just because you're mentioning skills. And hybrid, what is hybrid? What is hybrid format of resume, Biche? Resume is a fresher, as you people, number of people like the majority will be fresher. How you write your resume is, and what is the header portion?
मैंने कह रखा है मैं नहीं करूँगा अभी.
Combination of skill based and chronological. Please, instead of messaging, please speak. As a fresher, what do you write as a header in your resume?
Ma'am, student.
Student. As a fresher, initial is your debrief of your personal information, which is your address, your contact number, and your picture. Then there comes your career objective. What is career objective? Why do you write a career objective in your resume?
अब उससे बोल दो. तो वो आ गया.
Please speak instead of messaging. What is career objective? Career objective is the goal of your resume. Why do you want to work? What if you work there? How you can
मैं तो नहीं कहता.
what it is? How your organization get benefits? How you can help them in the growth of their organization? This is what needs to be mentioned. Please, instead of messaging, please speak. This is the format of resume. Freshers resume format.
अपन निकाल देना फिलहाल फिर ये. कैसे निकले फिलहाल फिर ये?
What is the difference between resume and CV? Anyone? What is resume and what is CV? ये आप synonyms type में सुनते होगे. Just make a CV or make a resume. What is the difference between both? कुछ ऐसी evaluation होगी. If you will not respond, you will not contribute. No evaluation like this.
Ma'am, CV is a briefly explained about skills and experiences, and resume is short explained.
Resume is briefly explained. CV is detailedly explained. Where do you give your resume and where do you give your CV?
When we apply for a full-time job, then we usually give CV with a cover letter. When we give resume, when we are doing some internships or a skill-based course.
Okay. Let's start the video. Please see and I'll close question breaks.
Question. Would you build a website for a major brand with more than 200 million users using web?
So you're asked to submit a CV for a job application. Maybe you're thinking, what is a CV and how is it different from a resume? Let us help you with a quick overview of resume versus a CV. Typically, the key difference between a resume and a CV is that a resume is a concise summary of one's experience in a variety of categories, while a CV emphasizes a more detailed account of one's academic-related experiences. Also, an entry-level resume tends to be one page, while a CV is usually multiple pages. Okay, so now maybe you're wondering, how do I know which one to use? CV stands for Curriculum Vitae, which is Latin for the course of your life. What this means is that a CV is literally your life story. In some countries, the term CV is used synonymously with resume. However, in the US, these tend to be very different documents. Here's how. The CV goes the extra mile to highlight not just work experience and education, but also awards, honors, publications, conference presentations, achievements, affiliations, skills, and more. These extra categories highlight skills most relevant to academic settings, which is why the CV is most beneficial for graduate school applications. It is also used by people with or pursuing advanced degrees, such as graduate students and postdoctoral scholars. On the other hand, a resume is more focused on relevant workplace skills, which are demonstrated through experiences such as jobs, internships, volunteering, and extracurriculars. Undergraduate students and graduates with early careers are typically expected to submit a resume when applying to jobs in industry, nonprofits, and the public sector. The bottom line is, if you are an undergrad and an employer asks you for a CV, it is a good idea to follow up with them and clarify if this is really what they mean before submitting your application. Now that you know some of the distinctions between a resume and a CV, you can confidently tailor the right document for whatever kind of opportunities are in your future. Thank you for watching.
Auntie, did you understand what is the meaning of this? Curriculum vitae and resume. Anyone? Please, instead of messaging, please speak. CV, they said it is like what have you done all your life, the detailed version, and resume is the brief. Suppose this is the example, same resume with different patterns. One is the CV and one is the resume. In resume, everything which the post you have applied for is required is being mentioned, and in CV, everything, if it is related to your applied job or not related, everything is mentioned. Please respond. What is the career objective? You have seen the first video. What is the career objective? Why do you write career objective as a fresher? I'm again saying there's no evaluation if you will not contribute. Why do you write a career objective? I have already mentioned why do you write a career objective? It is the goal of your resume. Why do you need that job? Why that company should hire you? Everything is mentioned in that single line, couple of lines. There are some examples you can mention in your resume as an objective. This is a tip to everyone. Please do not mention anything, means do not lie in the resume. If you have done any course, if you have done any certification, then only to mention. Sometimes what happens कि आपका पूरा जो इंटरव्यू है वो पूरा रेज्यूमे बेस्ड हो जाता है कि आपने ये लिखा है तो उसका क्या मतलब है. Just the first example is being written in my resume, and once it was asked how you can contribute to the growth of the organization. Can anyone explain? To attain the position and incentive to move up to that level. Incentives. आप as a fresher incentives के बारे में कैसे कह सकते हो? What you want to do in your future for growth. And how you can contribute in the growth of the organization. Whatever objective you write, please, you should know the details. Example of resume format for the freshers. Please look at this. Brief personal information, then your career objectives, academic qualifications. See, it is chronological one. First BCom, then your higher secondary, and then your secondary one. Professional qualifications, any certification, any examination you have cleared, your achievements, co-curricular activities can also be mentioned here. Individual skill sets, what you're good at. Example, good communication and presentation skills, personal integrity and commitment to deadlines, computer proficiency, and your personal information in detail. Dressing etiquettes. Anji, can anyone explain dressing etiquettes while interviewing? When you go to an interview? Why do you need a dress code? Why do you need to get dressed in the formals? Why you cannot go in the casuals? Anyone?
Ma'am, to make good impression.
To make good impression. Just by dress. What are the dress codes? Can anyone explain? Dress codes?
Formals.
Formals like what? Trousers, suit, what? Why dress codes? As soon as you enter the interview room, now you have already created an impression without speaking a single word. It is through your dressing sense. So always follow dress code. Anji, codes. Let's start with the video and then I'll ask questions. I'm again saying evaluation will be done on the basis of your contributions, everyone.
Sometimes while writing my newsletters, I tend to type so fast that there are spelling errors or some of my sentences.
Hi everyone. So recently I've been making a lot of videos on MBA interviews, but I just forgot to tell you how to dress smartly for an interview. So I thought let's make a quick video telling you the right dress code and how to carry yourself best during an interview. Our placement cell at IIM Ahmedabad was very proactive. So whether it is a case presentation or it's an interview round, we always knew the right dress code for that particular event. Generally, there are three kinds of dress codes: smart casuals, business casuals, and business formals. Smart casuals include half sleeves collared t-shirts along with jeans or trousers. Business casuals include half sleeve shirts along with trousers, but the important dress code for you and which is relevant for interviews as well is business formals. For men, business formal includes wearing a three-piece suit, including a shirt, a trouser, and a blazer. Wearing a blazer is always optional, but I haven't really met a single person during my MBA interviews who was not wearing it, so I think it's better not to stand out and definitely go for a blazer. When getting yourself a business suit, try ensuring two things. First is to go for a standard colored suit, like go for black, grey, navy blue, or some shade of either of them in between. That's because you wouldn't really want to stand out by wearing something like a maroon or a sky blue, because that's going to look very awkward during an interview. Second is to ensure that the color of your blazer matches with the color of your trouser. So it's not a good idea to be wearing a grey colored blazer with a black colored trouser. Ensure that it's the same. That's the standard dress code for business formals. Once you have your business suit figured out, you have to match it with a collared full sleeve shirt. Now for the shirt color, I will share a link in the description. That's a blog post that recommends you what kind of a shirt you should be wearing with what kind of a blazer. The same link will also include some recommendations for tie colors. I believe that's an important element of your suit, so you should never miss it. The common colors are red, blue, grey, brown, and black, but go ahead and check out that link for more. The final element of your suit is a pair of formal shoes. These shoes are leather shoes, generally come in colors like black, brown, or camel. You can choose black color to be safe, that goes well with every single business suit, but if you want to explore it further, here is a guide on which color goes best with which kind of a blazer. So this is the most basic business attire that you need in order to appear for an interview. You can also notch it up one step further by wearing a wristwatch. I would highly recommend getting a haircut and trimming your beard if you have one before your interview. And the final tip would be to invest in a good leathered folder, which is preferably black in color, to hold all your documents. I got it from the nearest stationery shop, but you can also get it from Amazon. I'll share a link in the description for your reference. Now for women, you can also wear the same suit, or you can have a skirt instead of a trouser. That's the only difference. You can also get yourself a traditional suit or a sari. That's also acceptable. But during my MBA interviews, I did not see more than a single person wearing a suit, so I would say that it's rare, but that's still acceptable. When it comes to shirt, you can also refer to the same link in the description, which talks about the color combination. That holds true for you as well. Coming to shoes, the only requirement is that your toes should not be visible, which is why bellies are considered to be formal wear. You can go for colors like black, brown, or tan depending upon what is the color of your blazer, but black would go with all sorts of suits. Please ensure that you're not wearing heels to an interview, because they make a lot of noise, and secondly, there's a lot of sitting and walking around, so you would want to avoid getting tired because of them. Instead, go for wedges or flats, whatever you feel comfortable in. When it comes to your hair, you can keep them tied or untied. There's no rule there. You can keep it as you want, but there's a rule that they should not be covering your eyes. So if you have fringes, then try to trim them to a certain level such that your vision is not hindered. The last 2 points are regarding jewelry and makeup. There's no stopping you from wearing either of them. Just ensure that you're not overdoing anything, and your jewelry should not be very flashy. And like I had mentioned earlier, you should also get yourself a black colored folder, which looks very elegant with your overall look. I'll share a link in the description for a reference. With this, we conclude the video on dress code for interviews, and I'll also link an interviews playlist for your reference that can help you with appearing for them. Thanks for watching this.
Hello. I can remember a book.
So, is anyone aware about BBTTSS rule? Anji, this is general rule of BBTTSS. Anyone? What is BBTTSS rule? Repeat the question once. I am asking, there is a rule of B, B, T, T and SS. It is like B, B, T, T, SS. For the dress code. Is anyone aware? Please speak either yes or no. No. It is like, how do you make yourself ready for an interview? First, B stands for boots and belts. Your boots color and your belt color should match. Screens. BBTTSS. BB stands for boots and belts. TT stands for trouser and tie. And S stands for shirt and socks. B stands for boots and belts. T stands for trouser and tie. And S stands for socks and shirt. If somebody is not comfortable, if is not known the colors they should choose. We'll start with an introduction. Do's and don'ts, so please go for them.
You landed the interview. But now you have one major question. What do I wear? The realm of business attire can be very confusing. Understanding why appropriate attire is important and learning some smart dressing tips can help you dress for success. Dressing appropriately for an interview and at work is important for a variety of reasons. It helps you look qualified for the job and look the part. This helps interviewers, coworkers, managers, and clients trust and believe in you. It is also your personal brand. How you present yourself is a reflection of who you are. Lastly, people make snap judgments based on appearance. These first impressions are lasting, and while they can change, it's helpful to have a good one. Now, to help you dress the part, here are 7 smart dressing tips. Tip 1. Know your industry. Each industry tends to have a certain expectation for attire and style. For example, high corporate tends to dress more formally, and California tech companies tend to be more casual. Knowing this can help you get an idea of how to approach your wardrobe. When you attend a career fair or a networking event, pay attention to what people in your industry are wearing. Tip 2. Know your company's rules and culture. In addition to knowing the vibe of the industry, it is important to know your company culture. This can help you gauge the level of formality as well as what accessories can be appropriate in your workplace. Your company may have specific rules on attire, such as a dress code, and it is important to follow them. However, if there is no official dress code, a great place to start is by looking at your company's website to see how they present themselves in their photos and marketing. This can clue you into the company culture. Tip 3. Know the difference between casual, smart casual, business professional, and business formal. These different styles become increasingly formal. Here's an easy way to think about each style. Casual is what you typically wear on a daily basis. Smart casual is an elevated, more stylish version of casual, although it is still considered informal. Business casual is very common in many offices and can be very ambiguous. Generally, it includes elements of business attire that are worn more casually, but are still meant to look professional. Business professional is a traditional form of business attire that is usually more conservative. Lastly, business formal is reserved for the most formal settings. It is similar to black tie, but remains professional. Still confused? You can find a more in-depth explanation of the differences by searching Indeed Guide for Business Attire. Tip 4. Make sure your clothes match your level of activity. When first starting out, be prepared for a variety of levels of activity in your new role and for them to change throughout the day. For example, in a more formal environment, wear formal footwear, but bring a comfy pair of shoes in case you are doing a lot of walking or going to remote locations for meetings. Being able to stand and move easily is going to allow you to do your best work. Some professionals keep an extra pair of shoes in their office for those times when they will need to change it up for the day. Tip 5. Buy pieces you can mix and match. If you're just starting your professional wardrobe, you don't need to have a lot of clothes to have a lot of outfits. Buy clothes in a similar color scheme so you can mix and match to create many outfits without having to buy many pieces. Also, think about using consignment stores, thrift shops, or social groups like Davis Seller Trade on Facebook to supplement core pieces in your wardrobe. Tip 6. You do not have to compromise your sense of style to dress appropriately. Wear pieces that make you feel confident. Just remember to stay within company guidelines. Tip 7. Dress for the position you aspire to be. If you are looking to land that position or move up in a company, dress to the position you want. This can help your higher-ups envision you in that position later down the road and help you envision yourself there as well. When in doubt, err on the side of more formal wear than casual. This information is not only relevant for interviews in the world of work, but also career fairs and networking events that you attend along the way. Dressing appropriately for an interview and at work can help you be successful. This may seem overwhelming at first, but practice these tips, and in a few weeks, you'll be dressing and working like a pro.
So, what are the accessories he mentioned for the men? What are the accessories they mentioned for the men? They told you the dress codes, not to wear too much accessories, but what they told you to wear. Anyone? If you're just simply putting your phone on and just leaving this course, it doesn't mean you'll get evaluated. Tie, belt, watch and bag we mentioned. Just to get tie, belts, watch and a bag, a leather bag where you will keep your all the documents. And for girls, what are the accessories? Anyone, what they told about do's and don'ts? In this picture, they are showing dark shoes, but a girl is wearing heels. And in the video, they said no heels. If it is not making much noise, then it is okay, else no heels. Greetings. And the next topic is your greeting. Why is the interview greeting is important? Why do you greet someone? And even when teacher enters in your class, you greet them. Why do you greet them? Why greeting someone is so important? Showing respect. Yes. Doesn't it create impression also? Please, you can unmute and speak instead of writing. I'm again saying. Showing ethical behavior. Okay, yes. But how do you greet? What is the way of greeting? Suppose there are 3-4 people sitting in a panel, then how we will start? How you will greet? Handshake. What if the other person has not? Who will initiate the handshake? You or the other one? We. most probably they start the handshake. Their kind of handshake, what kind of handshake? Anyone knows kind of handshakes? What should we do? A formal handshake. Not too tight, not too loose. Dead fishy type of handshake. Other when you just put your hand like this. It should be like formal as you have mentioned. Okay. Okay, then what are the things that can ruin your impression, first impression? Then we'll start with greetings.
She carried me on her shoulders from my childhood till today.
12 things that ruin a first impression immediately. Scientists have proven that we form our first impression about someone within the first 7 seconds of meeting them. And there are definitely certain factors that can instantly make or break it. Are you ready to find out what you should and shouldn't do in order to leave a good first impression on other people? Then keep on watching. But before we start, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so that you'll always be the first to see all our new videos. Number 12, a weak handshake. This point couldn't be more important for anyone with an upcoming job interview. A flimsy handshake can be a real first impression killer. In his research, psychologist William F. Chaplin found that people with a weak handshake are instantly judged as being shy, anxious, uninterested, or even completely incompetent. That's definitely not how you want others to see you, is it? Another common mistake people make is holding someone's hand for too long. Awkward. If you're going to give the right impression of confidence and capability, remember to grip the other person's hand firmly and for no longer than 2 seconds. That'll put you on the road to success. Number 11, keeping your hands in the wrong position. If you're ever sitting in front of a group of people, whether it be at a business meeting or some conference, you've got to be mindful of where you keep your hands. You can put them on your lap, but never keep them in your pockets, because this gives the impression that you're hiding something. If you place your hands on the table, don't squeeze them too tightly, or lay them flat with your palms down. This makes people feel like you want to control them. Also, don't forget about the role that culture plays here. While gently folding your hands on the table is totally okay in the Western world, this position is considered rude in Japan and India. Do your research on the customs and culture before you visit another country. This will help you avoid any uncomfortable situations. Number 10, chewing gum. You've got to admit that it's incredibly annoying and distracting piece of gum. Put this irritating behavior into a formal situation or a first-time encounter with someone, and it becomes even more inappropriate. Chewing on gum makes you look immature, self-centered, and somewhat lowbrow. So don't even think about it for a job interview. You want to show your best qualities, not your indifference towards your potential employer. On the flip side, a new study has found that in casual situations, people chewing gum are usually perceived as more friendly and approachable. So be careful with this one. It can either help. Eye contact has an unbelievably powerful influence on how we view someone. A 2007 study showed that people who maintain eye contact during a conversation are often seen as more confident, attentive, intelligent, and trustworthy. People that avoid eye contact, on the other hand, are viewed as less sincere, more anxious, and even unattractive. It doesn't mean you have to stare people down like a creep. Just don't be afraid to lock eyes with another person from time to time instead of constantly looking around, especially when you meet them for the first time. Number 8, playing with your hair. Statistics show that women touch their hair up to 18 times a day. That's fine if you're fixing it in the mirror, but if you play with your hair while talking to someone, you could be sending them the wrong message. Ways with their hair during a conversation looks unconfident, anxious, and uncomfortable. Traits that are especially undesirable in official situations. And when playing with your hair, you tend to do this when you're nervous. Number 7, picking the wrong conversation topics. In order to avoid the dreaded awkward silence, a lot of people are ready to talk about anything with someone they've just met. But you never know what subjects can make someone feel uncomfortable. So it's better to play it safe and avoid the general taboo topics out there. They include health problems.
Anything else what they have mentioned? What are the things that can ruin your first impression of the interview? Not giving all the interviews equal importance. Yes, true. Being too confident, being overconfident also ruining the first impression. The way you greet, just suppose getting it must agree, take good morning and afternoon. Instead of being say hi and hello, be formal. Formal comes like morning, afternoon, and evening. Handshake, I'm again saying handshake is way too important. The way, what type of handshake you do with the interviewer. While closing the interview, what do you say? Just okay, thank you. What do you say after interview or after chat? Even after a viva, number of people say to you, you are also. Have a great day. Even if you didn't had a good interview, then also. Sahil, what if you really had a great interview? Thank you for your time. Yes, yes. It doesn't matter how your interview was, but do not forget your ethical, behavior. What to say in a job interview? Like, I'm pleased to meet you. A polite greeting. Convey that you're a team player. Working together is one of my strengths. I would love to work here because please do mention why this company, why this job. Follow up with a thank you note. Phone interview. Okay, now after this lockdown, number of companies are doing the phone interview. What are the requirements? What are the resources you need for that? How do you prepare yourself for a phone interview? If there is a phone interview, how will you start your conversation?
नहीं निकला है मुझे आपसे पहले मुझे पता है अभी कुछ दिन घूमने निकले हैं
Greetings. Okay, more. Do you need a formal attire? Greeting then introduction. Do you need a formal attire if it is an online greeting? Yes, yes. You do need a formal attire, a complete formal attire. ऐसा नहीं है कि जैसे पहले शर्ट 2 मीम्स बनते हैं शर्ट आप पहन के ट्राउजर आप नई जीन्स पहनी है No, you need a full complete formal attire there. No noise, clear the room distractions. Pen and paper to write it down whatever they mention. Have a look on this.
Create videos for your business with hundreds of templates designed.
Never be late for an interview. Plan to reach at least 10 minutes prior to the scheduled time. And even if you are running late, do call up the point of contact in that company. Make sure you do that.
Dress for the job you want, not the one you have. While not all interviews will require you to walk in full-fledged formal attire, it is important that you look neat, groomed, and professional. So no distressed denims, no slogan tees, and no overly visible tattoos.
Smoking right before an interview might not be a good idea. You should smell fresh, so better keep a pack of breath mints along. Please carry the required paperwork with you. Even if you mail the soft copy to the employer, it's always better to carry the hard copies.
On the day of your interview, make sure you're nice to anybody and everybody you meet. You never know, the man who you showed a middle finger in the parking lot could be the one taking your interview. Karma.
Please make eye contact. It shows that you are confident and you have nothing to hide. But just make sure that it's not intimidating or creepy.
जब तक बैठने के लिए नहीं कहा जाए, खड़े रहो. That's right. Sit only when a chair is offered to you. Also make sure that your posture is confident and energetic.
Your handshake should be as strong as your determination to get the job. But just make sure that you don't break the interviewer's hand in the process.
Being soft-spoken might not help. A forceful voice projects confidence and leadership qualities. However, you should not sound overtly aggressive too.
Do not bring up personal problems and issues to the table with the interviewer. Unless and until the interview is for roadie season shit, please.
Never be in a hurry to answer the question. Listen to it very carefully. If you're unable to hear the question, ask the interviewer politely. Also, do not forget to mention your strengths in your answer. A citing of examples will be an added bonus.
Don't be a robot. It's an interview, not a court hearing. Have a little fun with it, be more confident, make it a two-way conversation, and please don't give boring monosyllabic answers.
Don't show that you're too desperate for the job. Also, don't say anything negative about your current or ex-company and colleagues. It's not a good deal.
Never lie. If your employer asks you about your greatest achievements or your weaknesses, say it as it is. Stress on your achievements, but also talk about your weaknesses and how you're improving towards it.
Do your homework and don't be afraid to ask questions. It's important for you to read up about the company, the culture, maybe even your prospective employer, just to know why it is that you want to work for the company. Remember, this shows that you are invested in your career enough to do the research.
Do not inquire about your salary, bonuses, leaves until after you have received an offer. Being confident is good, but being overconfident is just plain stupid.
Even if your interviewer acts too friendly, make sure you behave properly and stay alert all the time.
Think beyond your resume. A good interviewer would probably allow you to talk about things that aren't in fact mentioned on your resume. Take this opportunity to impress them with your personal achievements and interests that could show how you're better suited for the job. Maybe you climbed Everest. Maybe you like riding bikes. It could all fit in.
Most importantly, don't be nervous. We know you have it in you. You can crack any interview that you want. All the best.
तुम हमें लाइक दो,
एम्प्लॉयर तुम्हें हाइक देगा.
तुम वीडियो को शेयर करो,
एम्प्लॉयर तुम्हारी केयर करेगा.
तुम वीडियो पे कमेंट करो,
तो कोई ना कोई तो तुम्हें जॉब दे ही देगा. सॉरी, ये मैच नहीं हुआ.
हाँ जी, इंटरव्यू में क्या जॉब कहते हैं सिर्फ वही मैटर करता है, वो जो जॉब नहीं कहते वो भी मैटर करता है. What does this line mean? आपने ग्रीट कर दिया, आपने कॉन्फिडेंटली आंसर कर दिया. Other things, what do you understand by the body language? And what do you understand by body language? How it should be? How your body language should be while you are giving your interview. It should be formal, the way you sit, you walk, okay, the way you answer, the way you use your hands, eye contact, and the other things. अभी तक आपने रिज्यूमे बना लिया, अपना ड्रेस ठीक कर लिया, you walked properly, you greet, then now this is your body language. How you will, let other person know about you without speaking a word, just through your body language. How should I sit in the front of the interviewer? Yes. Are you to, lean towards the chair or just putting your leg up front? Anything else? The type of questions you ask. आपका कॉन्फिडेंस आपके चेहरे पे दिख जाता है when you answer. So body language is about the fact that body language play a huge role in the interview. Make sure that you follow the appropriate body languages. Body languages के types क्या आप do's and don'ts हैं आप लोगों के? हाँ जी. Eye contact. Do not cross your arms. Practice handshake. Don't blink eyes. Why? Why don't blink eyes? Or don't blink too much. Blinking I find natural. Just looking around quite often is too much. Everything which is too much is not good. Whenever they ask something and you're looking into their eyes, not around, it shows the confidence. And when you blink too much, they know you don't know the answer. Biting lips, biting nails, shaking your leg, shaking your hand. Avoiding, try to cross your legs. See, again, it is mentioned. Don't forget to smile. Do not smile too much. Even if, just see the situation, see the other person, see the interviewer, how they're responding. Then you make your behavior. As in the video they mentioned, even if the interviewer is quite friendly, do not forget your behavior. Good postures. Remain calm. Don't let nerves make your feet do a tap dance. It is again shaking your leg. उनके साथ कोई किसी भी तरह की बहसबाजी सैलरी को लेके या लीव्स को लेके नो. See the postures. Or you are too active on the seat, just leaning towards the table. It might show you want to leave. Rubbing the hands or doing this kind of behavior. You can give your opinion only when it is asked. They will ask you what are your expectations, even from the organization or from the salary board. They'll ask you everything. They'll ask what salary do you expect? Can you negotiate whatever number you can tell? Anything else? Anyone want to mention? Let's see some tips. Tip number 1 is maintain your body posture at all times. Even if it is getting friendly, do not just, don't be over friendly with it. You are giving the interview, you want the job. You cannot be, informal with them. Make yourself comfortable. Eye contact and smile. Search for a power pose and practice it. What is power pose? What do you understand by this word? Anyone? What do you understand by the power pose? Try to follow the interviewer's footsteps. Confident look, yes. The way you sit and then the way they see you people, how eager you are, how keen you are towards their question or towards their organization. Yes. Never hold anything in your lap. Yes. If you are having that bag, leather bag with your in which you are comfortable for a longer time. Yes. If you are carrying that leather bag in which you carry your documents, do not put that on your lap. Put that on the table. Place your feet firmly and cross your legs correctly. ending the interview well is as important as starting it properly. Ends with the greeting.
Speaker offer. Course, Logical Thinking Math course. Age limited.
Hi there, my name is Richard McMunn from the interview training website, passmyinterview.com, and in this next tutorial, I am going to help you pass against your responses to the interview questions during a job interview. But this is not true. You are also assessed against interview technique and body language. So it's really important that you watch this presentation from start to finish if you want to pass your interview. And just quickly, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. Let's get straight into the tutorial. Body language interview technique number 1 is to make sure you maintain positive eye contact with the interviewer throughout your job interview. By maintaining positive eye contact with the interviewer, it tells them that you are a confident person, and that's really important because all employers want to take on somebody who has confidence. Now you will notice that throughout the duration of these presentations, I always maintain eye contact with you as much as possible because I want to come across as a positive person. However, if I start to look away whilst I am talking to you, this shows you that I am distracted and also potentially that I am a shy person. And we don't want to do that during a job interview. So always maintain positive eye contact with the interviewer. Now, if there is more than one person on the interview panel, make sure you maintain eye contact with all of them periodically when answering the interview questions. Body language interview technique number 2 is to make sure you sit upright in the interview chair throughout the duration of your interview, because this tells the interviewer that you are smart, you are professional, and you are also able to sit still and pay attention during your job interview. This is really important because if I start to sit back slightly, you can see that my whole body posture changes. So make sure you readjust yourself periodically throughout the duration of your interview. Sit upright in the chair, and you can also, to stop yourself fidgeting, place the palms of your hands on top of your knees. Body language interview technique number 3 is in relation to the use of your hands during your job interview. Now you will notice that I always use my hands whenever I am presenting to you during these particular videos. And I want to do that because I want to come across as positive and enthusiastic. However, if I was in a job interview, I would only use my hands subtly and occasionally to either accentuate a point or come across as positive and confidence. And you would notice that in a job interview, I would never raise my hands too far above my knees when making a point. Body language interview technique number 4 is to avoid touching your face during the interview. Now, on average, we touch our face 16 times every hour, often without realizing it. But when you touch your face during a job interview, it can actually come across that you are distracted and you are not able to sit still, i.e. you are a fidget. So at all times, avoid touching your face during the job interview. Body language interview technique number 5 is to make sure you smile as much as possible during your job interview. Now, when you smile at somebody, they will always smile back, because by smiling, it makes them feel positive. And after all employers want to hire somebody who is happy and positive. And by smiling throughout your interview, this helps to build a positive rapport with the interviewer. Body language interview technique number 6 is to make sure you listen throughout the duration of your job interview. And more importantly, you show the interviewer that you are engaged in the process and you are listening. So whenever the interviewer is either talking about the selection process or they are asking you interview questions, use soft facial expressions such as nodding, frowning, raising your eyebrows to demonstrate that you are listening to what they have to say. This is really important because the majority of candidates think that they need to talk throughout the duration of their interview. Yes, they do, but they also need to listen too. Body language interview technique number 7 is an extremely powerful one, but it is often underutilized by interview candidates, and that is to use your head whilst responding to the interview questions. What do I mean by that? Well, during the interview, when responding to certain interview questions, such as why should we hire you, I want to come across as very confident and resilient. And to do that, I will keep my head perfectly straight when answering the interview question, and I will look the interviewer in the eye, and I will say, you should hire me because having read the job description, I already have the necessary skills, qualities, and experience to excel in the position. However, if I want to come across as somebody who is empathetic and understanding during my interview, I will simply tilt my head slightly to the side. And this is very powerful because it then shows that I have a softer approach to dealing with certain situations. So if the interviewer said to me during the interview, how would you deal with a dissatisfied customer? I would utilize a slight head tilt to show that I can demonstrate empathy. And I would say, whilst dealing with the customer, I would ask them questions and I would appreciate the concerns that they had. So you can see that by either maintaining a straight looking head position or tilting to the side, I can come across based on how I want to during the job interview. Body language interview technique number 8 is to make sure you dress to impress. This is really important. A lot of people on this channel contact me in the comments section below the video and they say, Richard, I have a job interview coming up, I am not sure what to wear. And my advice 100% of the time is that you should always dress professionally and smart, because if you can't be bothered to make an effort in your appearance, I am not going to hire you. Because if you don't make an effort, it tells me subliminally that you are not prepared to do things to very high standards. So make sure you always put effort into your appearance and dress to impress during your interview. So in this next part of the video, I'm going to give you 3 really important tips that are going to help you to stand out during your interview. Tip number 1 is to never turn up to an interview empty-handed. My advice is to take along with you your CV or your resume in a smart presentation folder. If you have any evidence of previous strong performance at work or outstanding performance appraisal reviews, take these along with you too. And if you have any qualifications or certificates of courses you have attended, you should take these with you too. So never turn up to your interview empty-handed. Tip number 2 for passing your job interview is to make sure you demonstrate really good manners throughout the duration of your interview. So make sure you are nice to the receptionist when you turn up at the interview venue. Don't enter the interview room without knocking, and do not sit down in the interview chair unless invited to do so. And tip number 3 is to make sure you rehearse your answers to the most common interview questions before you attend the real thing. It is a well-known fact that those candidates who practice their answers to the interview questions before the real thing are far more likely to succeed. Now, if you would like a number of brilliant example top scoring answers to the most common interview questions, click that link right now in the top right hand corner of the video. Head through to my website passmyinterview.com and you can download my full set of 30 brilliant answers to difficult interview questions in a PDF guide, and you can have it within your inbox within 2 minutes from now. So just before I leave you and sign off, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Lots of you are passing your job interviews, and I can only have...
We will stand by the video 1. What have you understood through the video? So this is the hierarchy. There is a job vacancy. You apply for it through your resume. They call. First interaction is through the phone. How you interacting with them. Then they call you. There they see your dressing sense, your body language, your greeting etiquettes. These things have been done. Then greeting etiquettes at the end, how you behave with them, how you walk out, how you keep yourself calm. Now we will talk about the details, like in an interview, what kind of questions or how to prepare for the interview. First we'll see this video and then we'll see what kind of questions can be asked.
On an average, public speakers, trainers, coaches make up to 500 rupees a month, and you can get paid as a public speaker.
Please see this video. This is like a 2 minutes, not even a 2 minutes. See what kinds of eye contact do you have. Can you see the differences between two? It's a very short video. Can you see the differences? What are we trying to show this?
Yes, ma'am.
मुझे आई कांटेक्ट मिल सकता है जहाँ पे मिल जाएगा. What is a company research? Okay, now आपका resume बन गया, आपने entry लिया, आपने phone call पे बात कर ली, you have shown your dress, you have shown how you greet. Now it is when you go to give your interview, what prior work you do? What is the homework? Before interview, what are the steps to take before interview? How you prepare for the interview? Anju, how do you prepare for the interview? No prior work has been done. कोई interview की preparations नहीं होती. क्या common questions हैं, क्या company काम करते हैं, या ऐसे कहीं पे apply कर दिया. Know about the company vision and mission, research about company background. What kind of things do you search about the company? How does this help you in an interview? If you know about the company, how will it help you? Simple. Research about the company and their revenue and loss. Revenue and loss. Okay. Vision, mission, yes. It has been asked in the interview, what is the vision and the mission of this company? What do you know about us? What does it show? If you tell such answer of such questions, what does it show about you to the interview? If you answer confidently about the company to the interviewer, what does it show about you? Nothing. It doesn't show anything to the interviewer. That we are well prepared and to win the best suited candidate. Yes. आपने वीडियो में देखा, उसने बोला कि why we should hire you. It tells कि I fulfill all the requirement which has been asked for the post. बाकी जितने आए हैं वो भी तो उस चीज को फुलफिल कर होंगे, तभी तो इंटरव्यू के लिए आए हैं ना. What other things you can provide? Attentive and awareness. It shows how much you interested or not. Yes, it just shows, are you really interested in our company or not? That you are interested in the company. Yes. And if you are interested, then how much you know? Were you prepared for this interview or just ऐसे ही आ गए, होगा होगा नहीं होगा तो नहीं होगा? These are the things which show, which tells these things about the people. See, first we'll discuss, then we'll see the video. Do you research? What do you research? Read about us page on the websites. Check company's online press room or news release. News release. Why do you need to read about the news release? Updates. Why do you need to get updated with the company? Earlier क्या था, अब क्या है? Why? Why do you need to get updated with the news release of the company? To know about the company has evolved according to market. Yes, where it stands in the market. What is the value of this brand in the market? Yes. So what kind of questions they can ask to you in order to determine whether to apply for the job in particular company or not? In order to determine. But I am asking Priyanka, I am saying you have already applied, you have already selected, called for the offline interview, then they need to see this. ये चीजें तो आप अप्लाई करने से पहले देखोगे ना बच्चे. Whether to apply, this is just the very first question, whether you want to apply or not. Applied, got selected, then what prior work you have done. Let's see the type of questions.
Writing's not that easy, but Grammarly can help. This sentence is grammatically correct.
Let's be real. If you received $1 every time someone told you to do your research before an interview, you'd have enough money to never have to job search again. Okay, maybe the amount would need to be slightly higher, but the fact remains that everyone tells you to do research, but no one walks you through the specific steps to take. In this video, I share 3 practical ways to do research that will help you find the most relevant, the most up-to-date information on the company and role that you're applying for. I'll also walk you through some specific situations to show how best to use all that information you just found to impress the interviewer. So let's get started. As you go through the 3 tips, it's important to remember how you use the findings from the research you did shouldn't just be limited to the answers you give during the interview, but rather also at the beginning of the interview where there might be some small talk, and at the end where you should be asking meaningful questions directed at the interviewer. Don't worry if that sounds